Welcome back. All right, today I'm going to show you my setup in my 75-gallon, really detailed. I'm going to show you lighting. I'm going to show you filtration, setup underneath, ATO, pump flow, and I'll give you a few tips that I do as well along the way. Let's get right into it. So here's my lighting. Now I made this rack to hold these lights. These are just from Home Depot. They're aluminum angle brackets. And I cut them to size. I drilled a hole. I put these little sheet metal screws in there to hold it together. I screwed it to my countertop on this side. I placed them just far enough apart to put these lights down in it, and it holds them on there. And at my old studio, this met the wall. So that was what was holding the other end up. So I had to come up with another DIY to figure out, well, how am I going to hold this end up with the wall being way over there? I wanted the tank to come out from the wall so I could get behind it if I needed. I just got these off Amazon. These are just light holder racks. I screwed them on the edge of the tank and I placed them the right height. They're adjustable. They slide up and down. So I got them on there to hold the end of the light rack. I made them so the light would still come through on the side, and that's how I hold this end up. So it's nice and level right across. I wish my Gorgonian had its clothes on today. It just was open and now it's not for the video. Well, that's okay. All right. So let's get going on this. I get a lot of questions about what lights I'm using and how it's set up, so let me show you my lighting. The lights themselves I get a lot of questions about, and I'm really pleased with these. I didn't like to spend thousands of dollars on lights, so you can add them up. These are AI Prime. This particular one is AI Prime Soul. It only has 3 colors, but I've done a video on these. These are about 40, I think, less or 50 less than the AI Prime 16 HD. But these only have 3 light spectrums, like a royal, a blue, and a white, and these have, I believe, 5. But guess what? I don't use red or green. So I had these extra, and I just used this one. I did a video on comparing the AI Prime 16 HD and the Soul, and you can match the light, the intensity, everything exactly. So I have 2 16 HDs, one in the front right, I have this one in the back. Notice they're real spread out, and then I have this AI Soul in the front. This is also AI. And then I have 3 Kessel A80s. Here's the settings. You know, you can adjust your settings the way you like. My coral growth have been fine, you know, with this many lights above it. So you can adjust your settings. I use the setting a little bit more on the white light with a little bit of blue coming through. But these Kessels have the best shimmer of any LED light that they make, in my opinion. Now, I haven't tried the real super duper expensive lights they make, but these are as close to metal halide shimmer that I've seen, and I used metal halides about 30 years ago, and these came very close. So that's why I put these in. They're a great filler light for this tank, and they create a really nice shimmer, as you can see. The AI Prime will shimmer. Here's AI Prime over my 20-gallon. It shimmers, but it's not that kind of crystal clear kind of shimmer you get. So I've added those lights to do that. And filler, I definitely would not do less than these lights on here. If I take one away, for example, I only have 2 in the back. I don't have a lot of coral that needs a lot of light in the back. So I have 1 there, 1 there, and 4 in the front, totaling 6. All my AI Primes, for those of you who want to know the settings, are 60% across the board. With no red or green. AI Prime comes with the software, Bluetooth, so they ramp up starting at about 8 a.m. slowly. Full lights come on at 11, and then they go full till about, I think, 4:30, and then they ramp down and they're off by about 8:30. I almost forgot one important thing. My tank itself, I forgot something really critical. I get so many comments on how clear my water is and my tank. I have to give you my secret. The secret isn't so much how clear my water is, it's my low iron glass that I built this tank with. So let me show you the tank and why my water and the glass look so nice. Now this is the low iron glass. If you look down here, let me see if I can get this. You can see it's almost a blue hue. And if I angle it right, I'm looking right now, I'm not getting the best image here, but I'm looking right down to the bottom of this piece of glass. So this is low iron. And if you look at a tank that doesn't have low iron, it's green here and you really can't see through it. So that's part of the reason why my tank looks like it does. If you look on the edge, there's this slight blue color. That's part of the camera doing that. It's more of a light blue. But when you look down it, from the top, you see all the way down to the bottom. It's well worth the extra money. So if you're ever getting a tank, ask if it's low iron. You just get a really nice image of your tank through that kind of glass. I had to show you the Gorgonian with its clothes on. There it is. That's what a Gorgonian looks like. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is the filtration in the tank. So I made this overflow box. Water flows over into the first compartment. I always suggest putting your skimmer as close to the overflow. You could put it in your sump, but if you put it in your sump, put it near where the water comes into the sump, because that's where most of your organics are arriving in the sump. So that's why I put it here. So when the water flows over, it catches a lot of the organics right away. Up top, I've been using filter floss and a filter sponge. The sponge underneath this piece of floss is really tight. It's just holding in the floss above it. So I cut it so it's a little tighter than the opening. So that holds the floss in there, and you can see the water spills over the first baffle. See, this is where the skimmer is. First baffle, and then it goes into this area which collects the larger organic stuff. This is the Refugium pump hose line. I have a, what the hell is it called? I have the what is it? The Italian brand, for God's sakes. I hope I'm not losing my mind, guys. I have to go look at the other pump to see what it is. I forget the name of the Italian pump that I use all the time. I've been using it for years. This thing. Ciche, for God's sakes. All right. I have to show you the Refugium and how that works, because that's an intricate part of my tank. So let me show you the Refugium too. So here's the Refugium. All right, this is the return pump. And that's the hose that goes up. Here's the gravity-fed PVC that comes from the back of the Refugium. So let me come around here and show you. Here's the Refugium. It's 5 gallons. And I'll show you the top. All right, this is an AI Prime 16 HD. This one I got because of control of color. This has a lot of red in it. I use some red and green in this setting. It's more advantageous for the algae to grow. So I do have some red light and green on this. And I run about, I think, 25 or 30% of the blue and the white. It's not much, just enough to grow all this stuff in it. And let me show you what I did with the plumbing. So here's the plumbing in the back. This comes from the tank itself. You can see there's a right angle there, and it goes down into the tank. The Ciche Synchro 1.5 pumps it back up. See, that's down here. Pumps it back up and comes right back in the tank here. I don't have a high flow in here. This isn't meant for high flow. I like them low flow to let a lot of pods and everything grow in here, and then they find their way down in the tank. So, and then down there, let me just lift this up. There's the bulkhead there. I find that to work pretty well. I cut a hole in the glass. I have a video on all this stuff, guys. You have to just look through my DIY or construction stuff. So that's the Refugium. That's just a cool angle. All right. Let me show you the skimmer I made. It's made out of a candle holder cover, and it's real basic. It's stuck on here with suction cups, and I have this top piece here as a hole drilled through a rubber stopper, and this is the overflow, you know, where the skimmate goes down over and it collects underneath. I'll show you that in a second. And here's the pump, and this is a pump made by Higer. You know, guys, I hate giving credit to these companies that don't pay you to do it, but anyway, it's for you guys. You know, this has been a good pump. This is the second one I've had, so you get about 2 years out of them, but it's very strong, and it has a knob on the side. Now, I've marked it with white paint, so I know exactly where my setting is. So this is controllable on how much air you want to pump up to your skimmer, or if you don't use it for a skimmer. Here's the collection container. It's narrow. I like these. I got these from BRS years ago. I just cut off the top, and there's the hose that goes down into it, and it collects the skimmate down there. I do have to clean this hose every 3 to 6 months. I shove like a long brush down through it, and it kind of cleans it up. But that's the way I do that. The next thing I wanted to show you is the flow that I have set up with my flow pumps, and I'll show you what ones I use. MP10 across the front. These need to be cleaned, by the way, especially my mini wave maker. Now let's talk about that one first. The mini wave is a great little pump, and I use that in the back. It's set on wave motion. I forget what the exact name that they call it, but it surges up and then it tapers down, and it surges up to the highest, you know, 5 rating on it, and then it goes down. So basically it's just keeping the back circulating across the back of the tank, probably about halfway across. It probably doesn't go further. This MP10 is awesome. I highly recommend it. They're super expensive, but it really does the job. This flow on this one, it'll go like about 2 or 3 hours at one. It increases a little more. Maybe it's tidal flow for about 3 or 4 hours. Then it increases even more after that, and then it goes back down. I 2-part dose this tank. I had it offline for a little bit when I first moved in here to the new studio, but I put it back on, so let me show you how I 2-part dose here. These pumps are BRS pumps, bulk reef supply. They've been quite good. I've had to replace one hose in one. I've had them for about 4 years now. They work really well. They're less expensive than the high-end ones, but they work really well. They're Italian made, and these work great. So I have alkalinity and calcium. I use these narrow containers here on the side of the tank. If I fill this, it lasts almost 3 to 4 months. And then the outlet hoses I just let hang here. That's calcium into the tank, and there's the alkalinity into the tank. You just want those to go in a higher flow area, but my whole tank is pretty well flowing, so I put them right there. My ATO is quite basic. I've done away with the sensor ATOs. Let me show you what I use now for ATO. Here's the back of my tank. I really can't get up close to it because my cabinet is in the way, but as you can see there, I have the Digiton float switch for my ATO. It works great. You know, when it falls off the magnetic edge of the part above it, it triggers the pump to go off, and then it fills. And you can see up here, there's the hose for the pump that comes from the ATO, and it keeps it right to that line. It's very accurate. The sensor ATO, sometimes it would not overflow the tank, but run too long, and then sometimes it wouldn't come on, so I did away with them. Here's my ATO container. As far as I'm concerned, get yourself as big a container as you can to fit wherever you're going to fit it, because then you don't have to deal with filling it up all the time. I can put 10 gallons in this, maybe more. I can actually go 15 gallons when I go away on vacation. 10 will go a full week, maybe 9 days. Here's the 2 pumps I have in here. These come with the Digiton. They're little mini DC pumps. They work great. So I service the 20 gallon with this and my 75 gallon with these 2 pumps here. That should do it, guys. I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions or comments, or I forgot something, leave it in the comments section. And I usually do 3 shorts a week, and I'll see you next week. I'm trying to do 1 video a week on the weekend. All right, so take care. Have a great day. See you on the next one. Whoa, another one.